Welcome back to episode 102 of the Block Runner Podcast. I'm your host, William, always here with your co-host, Iman.
What's going on, Lewis?
All right, back with 102, dude. Can you believe that?
102, not as relevant as 100, but whatever.
Dude, 104 is going to be relevant because that's twice 52.
What does that mean? Nothing?
Think about it. If we do a podcast once a week, that's 52
Okay.
times a year.
So, in essence, that's 2 years in the books.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah, but not exactly. So, we started on a March, right? 2 years ago?
Yeah, but I
So that
mean,
means
I think we've done a couple of podcasts, like maybe two podcasts per week, a couple of weeks.
Well, that's good then. That means we're overproducing.
Yeah.
Which is cool, considering like as much shit we have to do. So, but yeah, let's talk about this shit.
Yeah,
Lately,
let me
there's
bring
been
up.
a lot of shit going on.
Yeah, let me share the screen here. So yeah, we're also in Decentraland, by the way.
Oh, not me. I just
Did you jump
knocked
out?
myself out. But while you're in there,
Yeah,
have some updates coming up from the Ethermon team.
yeah. The Ethermon team's like plugging away, man. They're like building every single day, man. They got updates, and there's gonna be an event coming up next week on Wednesday, the 20th, January 20th, where beta testers will be able to jump in and like battle these little slime entities here, slime grass.
Yeah. So what do you get from battling them and killing them? As sad as that is, I don't want to see them die because they're so cute, right? But
Well, I think so. Let me click on this Ethermon logo. So your Ethermon has to battle these slime grass, and there's potentially a consequence, right? If you could die, right, and you have to revive your Ethermon. But for every attack that you do, your energy goes down and your hunger goes down.
hmm
So in return, you potentially can win like randomly generated prizes, XP, and some other things they're gonna do for the event as well. So, but for now, they're just testing out, the battling mechanic with on next week with a couple beta testers, and then we'll see what they do next.
Interesting. So this is like what the whole airdrop was about. Is airdrop with the grass meta. So this grass that you see below is the actual meta, right?
Yeah, that's correct.
So that's what the whole purpose of distributing as many of these grass metas out there as possible, just to have more of these little slime mobs,
That's right.
out there in the world.
So yeah,
See-
this particular landowner has 10 grass meadows all in
Yeah.
in these two plots here. And so
Yeah,
that's
you
why
can
you're
tell,
seeing
right?
so
Because
much.
there's usually not this many.
Yeah, that's right.
Is it one per grass? That's how it works, right?
Yeah, I think it's one per grass.
That makes sense.
But the more grass meadows that you have, up to 10, the more often that these things will spawn. So you'll be able to mine marks, which is a off-chain token that Ethermon is going to move on-chain eventually.
Yeah.
And then you'll get a bunch of experience points by tackling these little guys.
Oh, that's awesome. Very good. So you're so whoever owns this little couple parcels, they did a good job as far as like providing all the metas necessary for like an actual Ethermon
Yeah.
grinder to like want to stay here, right?
Yeah,
Like
absolutely.
you have the food readily accessible with the garden bed right there. So if your Ethermon gets hungry and weak, you can eat, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, you got plenty of mobs to keep battling. So yeah, this is pretty cool.
Um, so let's give a backdrop on what's going on with the world, man.
Oh man, do we have to, dude?
Yeah, we have to, because this has lots of implications on cryptocurrency
Yeah,
and
that's true.
on
I
on the
had my
world.
own like. I mean, did we? Yeah, we covered that Capitol riot like live, I think, on the podcast, didn't we? Last week.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, we covered it live as the
Okay.
Capitol was being attacked by citizens of America.
Yeah, it turned out like it was actually a much bigger deal than what it looked like from this Twitter feed. Like it just kind of looked like people just going a little, it's getting a little rambunctious, right? But actually, several people died,
Yeah.
which is not cool. And like as a result of that, there's like a whole cancel movement going on, for anybody affiliated with Trump and Trump himself. He's
Yeah,
actually
not
removed from Twitter.
he's been removed from Twitter, YouTube. I
Pretty much
mean,
everything, dude.
every
Every
single
platform.
platform.
Yeah, it's like this is like a 100% tech, like big tech collusion. Like everybody on the tech sector agrees to, just get rid of anything Trump from the internet, and not just Trump. Do you hear they shut down Ron Paul?
No way, did they?
Yeah,
Wow,
dude, Ron
why?
Paul. I don't know, man. He seems like a pretty wholesome guy to me.
Yeah, he's like a gentle guy. Why would they cancel him?
Yeah, I think they're getting a little too crazy. Like, I think like the big tech got like a taste of their power. Like, yo, we can actually just get rid of everybody, and that's exactly what they're doing. They're getting rid of anybody who doesn't fall in line with like a kind of like a liberal, state of mind.
So let's think about what that means. So they canceled Trump, and Trump right now, it's at the House. They're voting to impeach him the second time,
Yeah,
which I just don't quite understand. Like, why impeach him once if you have to impeach him twice? Like, what is the point of that?
yeah, yeah. Meaning like,
Maybe this is the time where this is the chance where they can actually remove him from office.
no, I think it's very likely because there's been some Republicans who are totally turning on him. Mitch McConnell even said like Trump has done some impeachable offenses. So
Well, he almost started World War III with North Korea, not even a year ago.
did he?
Yeah, remember he was like baiting them into launching a rocket, and then when they did and it failed, it was like he was making fun of
Yeah,
them.
yeah, yeah. But I don't think they're tying that at all to what's happening here.
No, well, no, but I
I think this
mean,
is all. Yeah, it's the rally. So last night I rewatched his big speech at the rally. Right, just to I didn't watch it. I wasn't paying attention.
yeah,
I wanted to see because everyone's stating that he incited this riot to happen. So I wanted to see like his rhetoric, right? Like, what is he saying?
yeah,
Is he out there like motherfucking Hitler? Like, do you mean like hail,
yeah,
hail white people or something? I don't know. I didn't see anything that bad. I mean, it was just his regular spiel, like, I'm awesome. Everybody in the Capitol is not. Like, they're all frauds. This is all corrupt. His typical speech, right?
yeah.
And he one thing he said is during like in the middle of it, he's like, I know you're all about to go march to the Capitol and let your voices be heard. But then he added he tacked on peacefully and patriotically or something like that.
Did he say that? I mean, because I
Yeah,
remember him saying that, "Don't be weak."
he might have said that too.
Yeah,
So he has like conflicting messaging, right? And he's speaking to like his diehard base. So, but for sure, he kind of like sent them the signal to march to the Capitol, right? But he didn't tell them to be violent. But it doesn't matter, I guess.
well, his constituents were telling them to fight. His
Yeah,
other
like, he said,
cronies.
fight, let your voices. Yeah, pretty much like fight, let your voices be heard. Like he's saying things like, "We're not gonna let this happen," right? He's just riling them up a little bit, like
Yeah,
getting them a
yeah,
little angry and aggressive. Like fuck, kind of like really getting that picture in their head. Like there's something historic happening here. Like the election's being stolen from us. We're being forcibly removed from power.
mm-hmm.
Rah rah rah, like let's go do something about it. But then he said peacefully, I'm sure he just did that to like rid himself of like any
Yeah,
implications. But yeah, if you're to point your finger at any source of what happened that day, it's definitely that Trump rally that was taking place like right down the street. Like
yeah.
no question, you know.
So another thing to kind of consider the consequences of what's happening here if Trump getting banned from all these platforms, which lends a good use case for all these decentralized platforms to really take advantage of what's happening.
Oh
But
yeah.
the question to you, I man, is let's say Hitler was part of Twitter and all these social media platforms, and what's the line you draw before it's time to take somebody off?
I mean there aren't people as powerful and like egregious as Hitler
Yeah, but Hitler
today
was
on the
Times
platform.
Man of the Year at some point.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is there are people on the Twitter platform right now who aren't being deplatformed who do have like genocidal ideas and stuff like that from people from like, you know, maybe like radical Islamic.
Yeah, I mean, there's racists on Twitter, and there's like
Yeah.
public racism on Twitter.
Yeah, you got like the Chinese like communist like propaganda Twitter account still tweeting like reacting to what's going on in the United States and like celebrating, you know, all the chaos happening.
Yeah.
You know, like there's still a lot of voices for sure on Twitter who are not, I wouldn't say like peaceful entities,
Yeah,
right?
but it's different when it's some crazy guy on Twitter than when it's the president of the United States.
Yeah, that's true. That's 100% true.
And that's what I mean. Is like that's why I don't want to compare Hitler to Trump. That's not what I'm saying. I'm talking about the extremism of
So you're saying if Hitler exists today,
yeah, like
today's time, and there's like in Germany, like there's like an actual party emerging where people are,
are considering genocide.
yeah,
Like
and
as
like
a legitimate
takeover of Europe,
yeah.
basically. And they're using Twitter as a platform to, you know, organize and yeah, create like more of a base of followers and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So what's the question? Like,
Where do you
Twitter
draw the
allow that?
line? When do you take Hitler off of Twitter and all these platforms? When do you do it? Like, because the underlying question is, if we have these decentralized social media platforms where you can't take anybody off because the technology doesn't allow it,
Mm-hmm.
you know, do we live in a world where there's like rampant racism and rampant genocide, like rampant, all these ideas start getting traction
Yeah.
without the ability to have critical thinking about what people are actually saying?
Yeah. See, that is a problem, and it like I guess like at face value, you want to say like that, you know, the fundamental rights of being a human is the ability to voice your opinion, right? No matter how wackadoodle it might be, right? Because yeah, like you're saying, who's the moral police here? Who do we give the authority to determine what's right and wrong as far as like your belief systems, right?
Well, I think
There is nobody, there is no entity on earth that should have that kind of power.
well,
You know?
I agree. There is no entity that should have that kind of power, but there is a clear line that should be drawn when you're inciting violence, right? That is always not a good thing.
See, inciting violence, like, what does that mean? Because Trump didn't do that. You know,
I mean,
you can't like point to anything he said like he's actually like telling them to go, you know, break into the Capitol and like
yeah, but he
kill
doesn't have
everyone.
to. He doesn't
Yeah,
have
see,
to. He didn't denounce the Proud Boys or the white supremacists.
mm-hmm.
And so he's sort of like nodding and winking at them by the stuff he's saying. That's
What
the
about
issue.
all the violence that was happening in the streets during the summer during the Black Lives Matter movement? I saw nothing but like endorsement and reverence for this movement and people acting this way. You were talking about this Trevor Noah guy trying to rationalize what was happening as like a positive. Like that's not okay.
No, definitely the violence from BLM is always a bad thing.
Yeah.
It's always a bad thing, but
So how
the
come all these
movement the
Twitter
movement
influencers
was a
were
good
tweeting?
thing.
Yeah, but all the people, they're inciting violence, right, by encouraging it. Is what, like it's that gray line. Like how do you draw the distinction?
But
You know.
I don't think Black Lives Matter movement was about inciting violence.
Well, neither is
But the
people who believe in election fraud, right?
yeah, but
Two separate movements.
Trump
And
was lying to his people about evidence of election fraud. He was lying to them. And so he was telling them to go to the Capitol and show some degree of force, right? Whether it's like, you know, waving your fists in the air to like actually breaking in. Like Trump is saying stuff without actually saying it, and people are picking that up.
Yeah, see, there's like a clear double standard though. Like there was way more violence going on during the BLM movement. There were people attacking government buildings and are attempting to, and like, where was the public outrage against that?
Well, there was public outrage. Even the people who support Black Lives Matter movement, they were agreeing that violence should not happen.
Okay, maybe not public. The big tech outrage, then the big tech.
But there
Like,
was no one guy. There wasn't a leader, a
that's the
president to
problem.
this.
Yeah, there is no one guy. Yeah, there's no one you can actually go to and like shut down like a movement, right?
And,
Yeah,
and think about the power that Trump has with 88 million followers.
mm-hmm.
You have a responsibility. You have a certain level of critical thinking that has to be put into the tweets that you make. And you have a responsibility to tell the truth about stuff, not just lie about election fraud when there's no evidence of it. And Trump doesn't have that ability because he's narcissistic.
Yeah, and he's trying to really make his case, right?
Yeah.
Like, he's not trying. He's trying to prove his point that there is some kind of proof of election fraud. I mean, there might be
different. It would be different if there was some evidence. I would be supporting Trump if there was evidence of election fraud.
Yeah, like we said, the evidence that they did have apparently was presented to, the judicial courts, and it was rejected.
It was rejected. Yeah,
that should be like the end of it. But yeah, it went too far for sure, in my opinion.
Yeah. So,
but don't you think, like we've talked about the BLM movement, they distorted their evidence as well. They exacerbated the actual like severity of the problem. I think I don't think the problem warranted the reaction that we got and saw.
Well,
I think a lot of that was fueled by the media.
Yeah, but it's also there's history and evidence. I mean, there's consistent evidence.
Yeah, there's okay, yeah. It's more visual. You actually see the bad things that people are outraged about, right? So there's just more of like an emotional connection to that.
Yeah.
But I think for sure it was spun out of control by like continually showing these images nonstop, day and night to the people.
Sure. Yeah.
Like fueling this sentiment of like hatred towards the establishment, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's the same tactic, like media manipulation on the people, right? That's what gets both sides in this type of state.
Yeah.
Oh,
absolutely. There's media manipulation and everything, especially in Black Lives Matter movement, where they're just kept showing, George Floyd and all these other murders
all day long, every day.
Yeah, it was like adding fuel to the fire, but that's, I mean, that's a consequence of social media. I mean, you click on the most outrageous stuff because that's how our mind works.
Yeah,
and
they live for this stuff.
Yeah,
pretty much.
Yeah. So, but it goes back to like when do you draw the line on somebody who is pushing this narrative that isn't true? Like Trump is like lying, like consistently lying about things.
Mm-hmm.
And
I guess you do it as soon as you have a good supporting to do it. Like this Capitol event was the perfect time for big tech to kind of step in and make their move, right? Because now they have the whole country.
Yeah,
they just have witnessed some kind of fallout from years of, political. I guess I don't know what you call it, but I guess, political manipulation of his own base. You know.
Yeah. And
so it incited something not good for the country. This is definitely not a good look,
Yeah, and so right now we're looking at a live view of the time remaining for this vote, and it's 225 for and 194 against.
Mm-hmm.
So it looks like, I don't know what this means, but it looks like he's going to get impeached twice.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I mean, whether or not it really matters that they get him out of office a week ahead of time, who knows? Really, it's more, I think this is just another political move. I think maybe there might be some kind of like
I think this is
rule where he can't run for re-election, right? If he
yeah, I
gets,
think that's the point. Yeah.
yeah, I think they're
Which,
really just trying to get it, like eliminate any probability of him coming back 4
yeah,
years.
I think before I understood that, I thought this was like a petty move, especially if he had a week left. But I get the motivation to impeach him twice again so that he doesn't have a chance to become president again.
Yeah, I think that's what it's all about. Or maybe they just really want to just stick it to the guy, be like, yeah,
I think
fuck
that's
you.
part of it. That for sure.
Yeah,
That's
he can
part of
go
it.
down in history as the only guy. I think one other president may, not a president, but I think it was like a senator who got impeached twice.
Oh, really?
I don't think there's been a president who got
No,
impeached.
president, no.
So yeah, he'll go down in history for sure. He already will. You
Yeah,
know,
this is probably the only time this will ever happen.
probably. Yeah. I mean, it seems like yeah, but dude, there's the Republicans are struggling now, dude. It's actually incredible how much of a 180 it was.
Yeah, it was.
Like the Democrats for the last 4 years have been pretty much outraged at their, their promised candidate, Hillary Clinton losing to Trump. Like there's no bigger upset in political history, I bet.
Yeah.
So the last 4 years have been them like trying to take revenge for that. And damn, dude, the revenge is here. Like
Yeah.
they are
But you know what?
completely.
Trump did it to himself though.
Yeah. Yeah. He didn't have to like take it as far as he did. I think he lost a lot of support during like those debates. I don't know if you watched him, but he attacked Biden like unnecessarily, during a time when people were like questioning Biden's actual like
Positions.
not position, not just his like capability to even
Yeah.
like have a job like this because he's an old man. People were speculating he might be like early stages of dementia and whatnot.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like Trump had a lot going for him at that time. Like people even on the left were debating whether or not Biden is suitable for this position.
Yeah, I mean, I thought Trump was going to win in a landslide, to be honest.
Yeah, but he came out like completely unnecessarily, like just too over the top with the aggression, and I think that threw off a lot of his base. So
Well,
yeah, he
I don't
kind
know.
of.
I don't know how much base it threw off because it was still like 75 million votes for him.
Well, dude, it could have been more, dude. It could have been more.
Yeah, it could have. Yeah, it could have been enough to sway the.
Yeah. Yeah, something like that. But dude, still, this sets like an ugly, I think, precedent still for big tech. Just to just show it's just more of a showcase of how much power and influence they have
Yeah.
on this country. On the world, really.
Yeah, but I mean, so the point of this segment of the podcast is to figure out is like, let's assume that Twitter and Facebook and all of these were decentralized platforms, and we had a rampant Trump just like running amok.
Yeah. Which it's probably going to end up happening in the future, more than likely, because now this base that's getting completely deplatformed from social media, they have to find a new hub, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure.
And if like the application stores like Google and Apple and whatnot, and
Dang, that's true. It's the gateway to these decentralized apps.
Yeah, like if they're completely barred from that network, there's no other option than to find some kind of decentralized means to kind of like, do exactly what you're talking about. Right.
Yeah.
So this is like the opportunity of a lifetime for a platform like Voice to actually onboard like some actual mega voices.
Yeah.
But what a timing for Dan Larimer to completely step away from Block
Yeah.
One.
I don't know if we talked about it on the podcast, but Dan Larimer, the founder of EOS, has stepped away for the third project that he has created.
Yeah, he's gone. He made like a farewell note, I guess.
Oh, did he really?
Leaving Block One as CTO.
Yeah.
If you know what Block One is, it's basically like the foundation of the EOS ecosystem. It's the entity that raised the $4 billion ICO.
Yeah.
A lot of people were expecting it, like all that money, to kind of like incubate like a nice ecosystem of projects to be spun out from the EOS ecosystem. But unfortunately, that hasn't happened. The money hasn't really been allocated as people were expecting. And yeah, pretty much the best we've seen so far is the voice platform, intended to address this exact issue. It's kind of like they saw this coming, right?
You know what? I remember seeing some post on The Voice where the actual platform is not decentralized. Like you could still censor people. I think even Dan Larimer said something like that. I don't know.
Really?
Yeah.
No, that sucks.
Yeah.
That might have something to do with why he left. I don't know. I guess Dan's really good at like spinning up blockchains and whatnot, but he's not good
Dude, check that out.
managing them, I guess.
Are you
Oh
seeing
wow,
that?
that's hilarious.
This is hyper localized to Houston, but the Rockets trade James Harden to Brooklyn Nets.
Yeah, that's fine by me, dude. I'm not. I'm not hurting. So he's back, or he's with Kevin Durant too.
Yeah. So it looks
Damn.
like Harden will land in Brooklyn with Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving after Houston negotiated trade involving several teams, players, drafts, and swaps.
Interesting.
Wow.
Well,
Well,
sucks to be Houston, I guess.
yeah. Houston is
Houston
a
sports, dude. Never been
terrible,
good.
terrible city for sports.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just terrible. But who cares? I stopped watching this shit a long time ago because I, I just don't. I don't care anymore, dude. I just don't care. But anyway, back to crypto. Bitcoin dream is dead. What do you think about that?
What is it saying?
I don't know. Bitcoin's recent 25% plunge illustrates why it will never be a true currency.
Oh, a true currency? See, well, it's not trying to be that anymore. So
Yeah.
that's the thing.
Yeah, let's see what this Medium article says. Who
I
wrote
think
this?
I don't know. But, I
James.
mean, it's kind of true. That was the original Bitcoin dream, wasn't it? To be like a currency of the future.
Yeah.
I kind of agree with him in that sense. You know, I don't think people are going to be spending their Bitcoins, dude, anytime soon.
Yeah, I mean I agree with this sentiment, I guess. The Bitcoin dream is dead.
But yeah, there's a new dream.
Yeah. That's
New
right.
dream is alive and well, dude. That's
Yeah.
that store value dream, dude. It's not going anywhere.
Uh Bitcoin was, after all, not designed to be a speculative asset. It was designed to be a currency, a new medium of exchange that people could and would use to transact daily business with each other. Um, yeah. I mean, there's not a whole lot to say. Like gold, Bitcoin is valuable to the extent that people think it's valuable. You buy it because you think someone else will pay more for it in the future.
Yeah,
Um,
man. Digital Ponzi, like I said, just like gold is a Ponzi, you know.
yeah, but there still has to be a reserve currency, right? Do you think the dollar is going to
Does there?
persist?
Yeah, but that's the thing. We're operating without one. You know, we're operating. We're not on the gold standard
No, no,
anymore.
no. I know, but there still has to be a reserve currency, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So, is it going to be the dollar forever?
It's not looking like it. It might be the Chinese yen or whatever it is. You know.
Yeah, but it's still based on fiat. So even if it's some other fiat currency because it's performing better, it's not going to perform better forever.
No, I understand. Yeah, that's why gold is used for such a long time, right?
Yeah.
It's more of like that's like a truly universal money standard. But yeah, the central banks had a different idea, like 100 or so years ago.
Yeah, let's take a look. So the fact that Bitcoin has no intrinsic value the way a stock or bond does doesn't mean it's headed to zero. It just means that Bitcoin has become totally untethered from its original purpose, which was supposed to be a way to revolutionize people's everyday financial lives, is now mostly a way for people to get rich quick or lose their shirts. In an ideal scenario, for people to protect their wealth against inflation, Bitcoin began as a cryptocurrency. It has ended as a crypto asset.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's perfectly fine. Maybe in the future, when Bitcoin becomes a little more stable, you'll start to see it more, you know, transition back to its original purpose. But probably not unless like things like layer two become, much more widely adopted, integrated.
Well, let's take a step back, and so this guy sort of has a bearish view on Bitcoin, which is totally fine. That's his opinion.
I don't know if it's really bearish. I mean, I think he's
Well, hold
100%
on.
spot on.
Well, I don't know. This doesn't look like a full bullish article, but look at this update that he made. An earlier version of this piece misstated the cap on Bitcoin. If you know anything about Bitcoin, you know the cap. So how could you misstate it? So this tells me James doesn't know anything about what's going on.
Well, that's probably true. He's probably not as informed as like somebody who actually spends the majority of their time on this stuff.
Yeah.
You know,
Which, I mean, if you're gonna, dude, let me go back to Twitter here. If Twitter's gonna push this, then you would think that the whatever Twitter's pushing knows something. Like this guy should know something. Who is Maker by Medium?
Marker by Medium.
Oh, so Marker.
Making you smarter about their own business. Okay. It's just some publisher dude.
Yeah. So
it's just somebody with, again, an opinion. So
we talked about this.
Should we deplatform this guy for not thinking the way we think, or what?
No. Think about this though. We were talking about this very subject, and not in like the exact way, but we were talking about how if you know how Bitcoin works, you know how hashing, linking the blocks together, the work that these hashing computers are doing, the amount of energy it takes, the fact that Bitcoin hasn't been hacked in 12 years, the only thing that hasn't been hacked in the 12 years. If you understand all these things, you understand how money works, you know for sure that at minimum, Bitcoin is way better than any fiat currency.
Mm-hmm.
So knowing that, and you read these articles that say Bitcoin is dead or...
Yeah, but I mean, that's just, come on, that's clickbait, dude.
It is, but then even if you read it, it's not saying, it's like, yeah, the original Bitcoin dream is dead, but Bitcoin is going to surpass, gold, and it's going to surpass fiat collectively. Like that's
but they don't need to say all that, dude. That's too much shill.
But it's not too much shill if there isn't something better than Bitcoin to do all those things.
Yeah,
it's like you're putting your stake in the ground. It's like, dude, this is it.
Yeah. But at the same time, I like to see sometimes you got to have some bearish arguments for the thing too. You don't want everyone to just be like high on hopium, right?
Yeah.
Somebody has to step in from the outside and be like, yo, you guys are fucking crazy, man. You guys are putting all your hopes and dreams in this fucking internet magic fairy dust currency thing,
Yeah.
And that's the way it looks to the outsider, right? Because they're not as personally invested as we are, We're, dude, whether you like it or not, dude, we're all members of a cult, This is the Bitcoin cult. And we are sipping the Kool-Aid pretty hard, Yeah. That's perfectly fine, man, as long as our cult wins.
Yeah.
As long as the Bitcoin cult wins at the end of the day, then we did the right thing,
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of the point that I'm trying to make, is that like once you like fully understand like Bitcoin and then its opposite brother and its fiat, like I don't know if you can be bearish about Bitcoin.
I mean, I think it's proven too many people wrong too many times, to be bearish about it,
to be skeptical about it. Yeah.
Yeah, I think like it's just too consistent, too predictable at this point. Like it has like a predictable nature to it. Now that we're starting to understand even better.
I think its new use case as the world reserve currency is it's the right use case, and I understand like why people kind of hate Bitcoin.
But it's not going to be that though. It's not going to be the currency of the future just because of the nature of the tech. It's not possible. There's fundamental issues with the underlying technology that will prevent that from ever happening. Don't you think?
Prevent the world reserve currency?
Yeah, we're just everyone on the planet is transacting bitcoins at all
No,
times.
no,
So
no.
like
Hold on,
it's
hold on,
not.
hold on. So world reserve currency doesn't mean that you and I are going to be spending Bitcoin at the grocery store.
Well, that's what it is. That's what the dollar is. That is
No,
the
that
world's reserve
so the
currency right now.
dollar is currency, and
Yeah.
there's going to be currencies pegged to Bitcoin, like backed by
Yeah,
Bitcoin.
exactly.
That's what I mean.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I
Yeah, but
mean.
Bitcoin's not that. That's some other kind of like government issued stable coin probably in the future, you
Oh,
know.
for sure. Yeah.
This isn't like,
But
yeah,
Bitcoin's
like if
like
you're
it's like it's going to be the thing that underpins the value of in any other currency that's built on top of it or that's pegged to it.
yeah,
Bitcoin could be
potentially.
worth $100 million per Bitcoin, and then
Shit.
you're gonna
100
have
million? You're
because think
getting a
about
little
it.
crazy now, Will.
No, think about it because it represents the wealth in the world, right? So you'd
Mm.
have to have like a Bitcoin at $100 million in order to peg something to it, and actually to peg everything to it.
Yeah, that's just like the ultra bull case for it, you know. That's assuming like literally every other asset class turns to nothing and like all that's left is Bitcoin. I don't think that's what's
No,
gonna
no,
happen.
no, dude. It's hard to explain like what I have envisioned. It's sort of like
Go ahead, go ahead.
it's
Paint,
sort
paint
of
the picture.
Bitcoin represents the monetary value of human interaction.
Mm-hmm.
And when I send you the digital USD version, the new cryptocurrency of America, to
Mm-hmm.
you, it's going to be backed by Bitcoin. Like you can always convert that USD, the digital crypto version USD that's pegged to Bitcoin, to Bitcoin.
Mm.
Like that's going to be the foundation to our financial system is all of
Maybe,
Bitcoin.
maybe not. Like I think governments will ever like abandon the idea of their own like
See, but they don't have
their
to,
own.
dude. They won't have to. Even though Bitcoin's a world reserve currency, they won't. That doesn't mean that you won't have a crypto yen and a crypto USD.
Mm-hmm. I think it's just going to be two separate systems. You know, there's going to be legacy finance and there's going to be internet finance. You know, whether
Yeah,
or
but
not the
I'm
merchants
talking to the
accept.
extreme, like
Yeah,
150 years from now, like
dude, that is not a space to be making predictions for, dude. That is a little too far into the future. Like, you know, so many things have to go perfect for that bullish Bitcoin scenario. You know what I mean?
shit.
I mean,
I
it's
don't
definitely
think so.
possible.
I think things have to keep going in order to get to that point because fiat is
Yeah,
defeating itself, the dollar's defeating itself. Like let's say once fiat officially is defeated, like officially, like you cannot. You're Venezuela. The whole world is Venezuela. What do
yeah.
you do then? You just like wipe the slates clean. It says everybody has no debt. The country has no debt. We have the new dollar, and that's that.
Yeah, that's a scenario I don't want to envision. I don't think there's going to be some kind of like if everyone's Venezuela, I don't think there's going to be some kind of collective like reasonable like you
No, I
know
agree.
relaunch of finance. It's going to be more like now it's just like a giant like anarchic type scenario where it's just
Agreed.
countries battling for, you know, resources.
Battling for Bitcoin. Like who has the most
No, not
Bitcoin?
Bitcoin, dude. We're talking like resources, like things you actually need to
Well, yeah,
survive.
yeah, yeah.
You know, if we're all Venezuela, like we got bigger problems than that. You
Yeah, I
know.
mean, ultimately, what my point is that if fiat is a self defeating system, you know what's next? What foundation do you build off of your interactions, monetary interactions? Like, what do you do at that point?
Yeah, yeah. I don't know how. What I mean, I think for sure we're that's going to happen at some point. Some kind of major correction to the financial system is going to happen.
Yeah, there you go.
Like we know that, but that doesn't necessarily mean just Bitcoin is just it. You know, governments are they're gonna sit there and think like what to do next.
See, but
Doesn't
that's the
necessarily mean they're gonna all be like Bitcoin is the answer, right? Because
um.
governments don't want to give up the power and control they have over their people. You know, and that's what Bitcoin represents.
Yeah, but don't you think that
Yeah,
people
they might. They
would get
might.
educated enough to be like, yeah, I'm not going to participate, or at least I'm going to have 50% of my wealth in
Yeah,
Bitcoin?
that's exactly what they're gonna do, and that's what it's for. It's to store some of your wealth away from the risks of like fiat legacy finance. But it doesn't necessarily mean we have to use everything has to be on Bitcoin. Like,
Well, if 50%, if everybody puts 50% of their wealth in Bitcoin, it's the biggest asset class on the planet.
oh, for sure. I don't think that 50. Well, people will put 50% of their wealth into anything. Into dude, most people don't have 1% of their wealth into anything outside of what's in their bank account.
Yeah.
So that's just the way it is. You're assuming like everyone all of a sudden becomes a savvy investor in the future.
Well, I mean,
Does not happen.
we've seen 12 years of Bitcoin and
Yeah.
it's only up. So we can assume that the next 12 years is going to continue to go up, right? Because that's the trend
Yeah, but
now.
you know what else has only gone up in the last 10 to 12 years? Stocks. And you know how many people own stocks? Like less than 1% of people own stocks.
Yeah, and that's exactly what's going to happen with Bitcoin.
Yeah, no, those same people, those same like either retail or institutional investors, they will pick up on this new digital asset and they will purchase it.
Yeah.
That's it. I think that's as far as it goes. Like,
see, but that sort of like gives you the incentive to collect as many Bitcoins as you can, right?
yeah, of course, because that's still that's where most of the wealth is concentrated in that 1%.
Yeah, that's right. So if
Yeah,
that 1% is saying, hey, Bitcoin is like this next big thing, I'm going to buy, $500 million worth so I can at least protect half of my wealth.
yeah.
Like,
I mean, that means it's just a good asset, which is what this publisher is arguing. Not so much the currency of the future.
Yeah.
Because a lot has to happen in order for that that bull scenario to occur. Basically, like complete meltdown of everything.
Yeah.
But for sure, like a new asset class is definitely emerging, and that's what we're here for. But I like your optimism, Will. Regardless.
I just it just comes down to understanding how fiat works, and it's just gonna
No,
kill
I get
itself.
it. I get it.
I don't
No,
see an alternative. If there was an alternative to fiat currency, then I would be a little bit less bullish on Bitcoin.
yeah, I think at the end of the day, it's just gonna be like there's going to be so many currencies, dude. We're already starting to see things like social tokens starting to pop out, meaning like just people are going to have tokens that represent their own worth, I guess. Like every celebrity that is going to have a token in the future. And people who follow them and want to stake in their career somehow are going to purchase their social token. So it's going to be an infinite variety of digital currencies, right? That all have value to them. So they're all potentially spendable units of value, right?
Look at this guy. Another
terribly written article.
You see what I mean? Dude, that's what I'm talking about. Dude, I'm telling you, you guys, if you're listening to right now, please just read the Satoshi white paper. Start there and understand like this is a fundamental change in how humans interact with each other. And
yes, but see, this is also like a good representation of people who are just like toxic. Like if you read the article, the guy wasn't saying anything like that Bitcoin is truly dead. I think he just like looked at the fucking headline and like assumed it was this super anti-Bitcoin.
No, I'm pretty sure this guy,
who's Dan Held? Let's go to his account. I guarantee you the first thing it says is like some kind of Bitcoin thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, all of you learn about Bitcoin, dude.
Yeah, but that's the point that I'm trying to make. That if you know how Bitcoin works and you know what it means, what the implications are, then you automatically know that this article is just full of shit. Whoa, speaking of full of shit, we got a breakthrough, dude.
Dude, we are full of shit, dude.
God damn.
Our consolidation, I mean, it still hasn't broken out of.
Yeah. I mean, I think the top is at 40 and change, but I guess this is not a resistance level, dude. It's just going to go to 38 and come back down.
Potentially, or you just bust right through it, dude, like it always does, right? Which is, I don't know. I'm still hoping to see Bitcoin consolidate a little more than this, you know. But if it doesn't, that's fine. Like it had a reasonable correction. I think 28, 29%.
Yeah.
That's not bad. That's pretty reasonable. But I was expecting something a little heavier considering
As
you
was
know,
I. As was I.
considering 10 months of nonstop like positive movement. I was expecting something a little more reasonable as a pullback. So yeah, I'm not expecting this to break out.
Yeah, neither am I. I think, like I said, I think we're going to be hanging out. I said between 35 and 30, but I'm guessing now it's going to be 40 and 30.
Can I see how this looks on the daily?
Yeah.
Daily chart.
So let me get rid of these trash lines.
Yeah. I mean,
that's pretty healthy, dude.
yeah, it's not unreasonable to see this just completely continue to steamroll up to like 60, 70K, right? I guess it can happen. I don't want to see that happen. I think that's just too much too soon, in my opinion.
Yeah,
but
man.
what do I know?
Man, what if these institutions really do push up the price to like 200 and 300?
I don't know, man. I guess they're saying like that has to be the case, right? Because they're the only ones with that type of capital influence to actually put us into this realm of the trillions of dollars, you know, for Bitcoin. Like, good Lord. I don't know. But yeah, apparently bullish sentiment is definitely like nearing all-time highs, dude. Like it's pretty bonkers.
Yeah, I mean, we can even look at Google Trends here.
Yeah, that's always been like a nice indicator to me. But I spend a lot of time on Twitter, so I see a lot of the euphoric signals just from what people are saying on Twitter. But we need actual data to support that. See Bitcoin past 5 years. Oh,
ooh, we're getting a breakthrough here too. Holy,
yeah.
We're about to surpass this, dude.
Oh, yeah, it's getting a little nuts, dude. So what do you think? Considering like the prices are higher than 2017's peak, are we expecting like Google Trends to also like lap? Oh wait, but see, you can't get higher than that, right? What is the 100 metric?
100% means that it's all relative. So relative to 2017, there was twice as many people searching for Bitcoin in 2017 than there is right now. Because we're at 67. So we're a third more people searching for Bitcoin in 2017 than there is right now.
Oh, okay, interesting.
So so we're gonna surpass this. So all you're gonna see is this peak going to 100, and this one just getting smaller and smaller.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. So do you think that's what's gonna happen, right?
It has for sure. To be. Yeah, it's definitely gonna happen.
Increase in price just means an increase in awareness and an increase in attention, interest.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, so if that's the case,
and so for Ethereum, if you go back to 2017, there was out of 100 people searching for Bitcoin, 8 people were searching for Ethereum.
And it's relatively like the same these days.
Yeah,
Ethereum, and it's being reflected in the price. Like Ethereum still hasn't hit its previous all-time highs. You know.
Yeah.
Just doesn't have the same, I guess, like viral potential of Bitcoin. I think it's just because Bitcoin's easier to understand. Ethereum's a little more intimidating, I guess, to the average retailer.
Wow, man. People are still like...
What is that yellow?
Gold. Just searching the shitcoin gold. Get the hell out of here.
Dude, look how wonderfully stable that is.
It is pretty stable. It's pretty wild, man.
Yeah, it's like a healthy heart rhythm, isn't it?
Yeah,
the Bitcoin rhythm does not look healthy. There's some like cardiac events happening during Bitcoin's life cycle, dude. Some serious stressful moments.
Yeah,
that's a true. Perfect representation of like, you know, what phases we're in comparing these two.
That's funny, man.
Yeah, man.
Let's compare this.
I'm coming off as like a big time Bitcoin hater. I'm not a hater of Bitcoin. It's just sometimes I think the Bitcoin maxis just get a little out of control with their, like I said, it's very cultish like,
Yeah.
and I get it. It's because they're in so deep, like, you know, why wouldn't you spend your life trying to convince other people that this is the way, It makes sense.
Yeah, and take a look at this. So if you have 100 people searching, 62 people would be searching something about Facebook,
Hmm.
while at the same time, 12 would be searching about Bitcoin.
Hmm. So people are Google searching Facebook? That's
uh,
got to be like people like too lazy to type it in their browser. Like,
Probably.
there's no way nobody like doesn't know what Facebook is. Like,
Yeah.
that's funny. What is this?
So this is all time 2004 to present.
Hmm.
Like
Okay.
at
See,
its
that makes more
peak.
sense. Like, yeah, around those times, yeah, people probably were like Google searching. What the fuck is Facebook?
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah, Facebook started in
Let's take
2007
a
or
look at Tesla.
2007 or 2008.
I'm
Yeah,
pretty sure
let's
Tesla is pretty. There's got to be like a recent, like, huge spike up.
let's get rid of Facebook.
Dude, it's not even like registering. It's so small.
Well, compared to Facebook, a lot
Yeah.
more people are searching for Facebook. See, Tesla's in green, so yeah,
That's it?
it's growing, dude.
Yeah, but dude, come on, man. Elon's the richest man in the world.
I mean,
Okay, let's do
relative to
Elon Musk.
gold, I mean, people know more about gold than they know about Tesla.
Put Elon Musk on there, dude. Next to Tesla. I bet you more people
Let's see
like.
who's searching more. Oh, Tesla. Tesla's getting more searches than Bitcoin and Ethereum, dude.
No, it's not.
Yeah, Tesla is gold now.
Oh, okay, yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, yeah, man. It's literally the hottest stock on the market. You know. Now let's look at Papa Elon, dude. Throw him in the mix.
Elon.
No, not Elon. Elon Musk, dude. Come on. There he is, CEO of SpaceX down there. Elon Musk. Okay, it's not that interesting. I thought not that. So Bitcoin's still way more
Yeah,
interesting, I
Bitcoin's
guess.
way more interesting.
Okay. Well, I mean, these are solid indicators. The fact that you said that we're going to see the 2017 peak start to decrease over time once this 2021 peak just continues to rampage makes me think there is a lot more,
Oh yeah, for
space
sure,
ahead of
dude.
growth.
Yeah, this doesn't mean that everybody's searching Bitcoin. It just means that this is the most that people have searched for Bitcoin.
Yeah. No, I just thought like to me, I was looking out for like once you hit that 100 threshold, it's pretty much over.
No, 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 definitely
But
not.
potentially not. Okay.
No, absolutely not. That would be the day though that
Yeah,
there
that's
are
the day
more
when you start
searches.
thinking about it, at least, right? Like it's getting a little too crazy out here.
Yeah. Yeah, think about it. Dude, this happened when Bitcoin went to its all-time high, which took 10,000 to 20,000 Bitcoin in about a
Mm-hmm.
week. And then that happens to coincide with all the maximum searches ever in Bitcoin.
Yeah.
So, could that happen again once we reach to 100? And
Oh, for
then
sure.
all of a sudden, cuz think about this. Man, I wish I can zoom in here. But you see this double peak here? That was the all-time high. And then more people searched for it, and then it brought this 100% down to like 98 or whatever,
Mm.
right?
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So maybe once we reach to 100,000, we're going to see like this peak, and it's going to go from 100 to 200,000.
Yeah, I don't think that's impossible. Because just off of what we were saying earlier, if Bitcoin only experienced its first pullback at 42,000, like there's going to be many pullbacks during this cycle, I would imagine. So
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. I guess this could potentially be one of those super cycles.
Dang, man.
Potentially, I don't know. We'll see what happens, man.
Well, this has been fun trying to figure out like what's gonna happen. And this guy James, I don't know, man. Read the white paper, dude.
Okay, go through some of these. Like,
Oh, look. So it's not that Bitcoin. It's not Bitcoin that's dead. It's the dream of Bitcoin as a currency that could compete with the dollar that's dead.
yeah,
I don't know,
who's
man.
that? Is that the author?
That's the author, yeah.
Oh, yeah, poor guy. He's like, dude, guys, chill the fuck out, dude. Like, I just wrote an article. Chill out. Fuck, leave me alone. Like, this is what Twitter does to people, man. They just like, it's like a platform for cyberbullying, dude. It's kind of gross, dude.
Yeah.
Twitter, it's definitely like the worst. Like when it comes to the hive mind, it's basically like what we saw at the Capitol, but like the keyboard warrior version of that. Like they all just gang rape you. You know, it's awful, dude. So I don't know. I'm obviously not the biggest proponent for social media, dude. I don't participate much. You know, lately these days I'm kind of forced to like dabble in these Twitter waters. But if I had a choice, definitely wouldn't be like being exposed to this level of toxic thought. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just not healthy.
Yeah, but you know what? It's the algorithms that force us to do these things, these clickbaits, because if your article says Bitcoin is not a
Yeah,
currency but a store of value, nobody's going to click on it.
yeah. It's not. Doesn't incite enough curiosity, right?
Yeah.
He said Bitcoin is dead.
Yeah.
Like exclamation mark. You're like, what? Like the maxis got pissed, dude, and they came in droves.
And then
Yeah.
he says cryptocurrencies have emerged in Bitcoin's wake that are better designed to function as currencies, but paradoxically, they're nowhere near as popular as Bitcoin. Yeah,
Yeah.
because Bitcoin has a different use case now. And I don't know how much we should follow Bitcoin's original vision of Satoshi. Like, does it make sense that should we follow that original vision, or should we make it something bigger when it can be bigger?
No, I think they already tried that. Like people tried to build on Bitcoin, expand it, and then
Yeah,
they realized it's not
Lightning.
really meant for that. And that's where the altcoins came about, you know?
Yeah, because if you think if Bitcoin can be like Earth's settlement layer in terms of like financial transactions, then you wouldn't want to spend your Bitcoin like at the coffee shop. Like
Nope.
it wouldn't make sense.
Yeah. And I think that's what Ethereum is slowly evolving into too. I don't think Ethereum isn't going to be what it initially envisioned itself to be either.
That's true, dude.
You know? And Ethereum is not going to be the general purpose operating system for the
Well,
internet.
let
It's
me
going to
ask you.
become the settlement layer for the value that's being conjured up on all the other
So
chains.
let me ask you if so why do you say that? Like what's the particular specific reason why you think Ethereum is not going to be what it set out to be originally?
Just because there's enough traction, like exactly what you were just describing. For like maybe Bitcoin can be bigger than what it is and like serve more of a purpose than what it does. And out of that thought process came this whole altcoin movement. So there's already enough traction showing people are running with that idea and building outside of Ethereum, and in a much more scalable environment, where it can actually become what Ethereum envisioned itself to be, using like a much
But
more
what exactly is
efficient.
pushing people to use different platforms other than Ethereum?
It's just like the lack of,
I'm
I
trying to get
guess.
you to say something. That's why I ask you these questions.
Yeah, well, I'm trying to figure out exactly what you want me to say. I mean, I know what's wrong with Ethereum, dude. It doesn't. It just. It's not. It's not nowhere near to being capable to produce like mainstream friendly applications.
But why though? Like,
Because it's just like an old legacy system that hasn't moved to proof of stake yet.
oh, okay.
And even then, I don't think that's going to be.
So you sort of answered the thing that I wanted you to say was the scalability.
Yeah, of course.
So that's the inherent problem with Ethereum because right now, I mean, specifically not today, because today's transactions, the gas price has been around $9 or so, which is far
Yeah, and
more
think about it,
reasonable
man.
than the
And
past.
think about how niche Ethereum still is. Like, it's a tiny community of users. You know, this isn't. There's no. You couldn't even have like
A
a
game,
hundredth of the activity that Facebook has on Ethereum. You know,
yeah, you can't.
like it's not possible. So to kind of claim Ethereum to be like the platform for the next version of the internet, like it's not. I don't think that's ever going to happen. You know.
So what will Ethereum be once ETH 2.0 takes over and we have staking instead of proof of work?
To me, all that means is like it's just less congested than it is today, probably.
Just less congested.
Just less congested.
You're still gonna see like expensive gas transactions.
Yeah, I think so. You're never going to see like what it's envisioned to be. Like, oh, you want it to be seamless for the end user, right? You don't want there to be any friction,
Yeah.
you know. And that's what these outside these tertiary projects are for. That's their focus, right? They're more consumer centric, you know. Just so that, and that's perfectly fine, I think, as long as they prioritize the bridging to what the actual value layer is that Ethereum, you know, network.
Yeah.
That's where the value is settled. That's where it's implanted and confirmed and validated. This digital asset is now here in the Ethereum ledger. Yeah, all the activity you did leading up to this eventual transfer to that point was feeless. Now you got to pay some kind of like confirmation fee. That's fine. From like an end user perspective, I'm willing to do that. I'm willing to spend a year, you know, interacting with all these feeless, you know, protocols,
Mm-hmm.
as long as it means I've accrued some type of additional value at the end of the year
Yeah.
that I could at some point cash in on and pay like some kind of, you know, settlement fee.
Yeah.
Like that's fine. That's a perfectly acceptable user experience. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. I see what you mean. I think you're ultimately right. It's just it's hard to envision what it was an easy transition for Bitcoin to go from a currency to a world reserve asset. And I don't know what Ethereum is going to be in a similar transition. It's just like you're saying, just a settlement layer for digital transactions to occur.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing that Ethereum has going for it is like the security level of Ethereum. It's sort of the same that's going for Bitcoin in terms of the security.
Yeah, think of it as like it's like the vault of data, like
The
bank
vault of data, yeah.
It's like the internet vault that people. It's like you're saying. It's the most secure vault in existence for internet data to be, you know, directed to.
Yeah.
So
See, that makes sense.
just because banks exist and like, see, we're all spending our day-to-day lives interacting with one another and earning value through our jobs and whatnot, but our money's never really secure, right, until it's actually in that bank vault.
That's true.
You know?
That's true.
Same thing. You know, we could be accruing like cash and stuffing it into our mattresses, which a lot of people do. But until you gather all that cash, take it to a bank, lock it up, that's when you know your wealth is secured. You know,
Yeah.
so I think Ethereum will serve that same purpose. You know,
Yeah, it makes sense. And unfortunately,
it's
we have
just
to wait.
because it's forced to, right? It's just that's the nature of how things came about. You know,
Yeah.
it's not what they initially wanted to happen, but I don't think it's a bad thing either, man. Like we shouldn't all be like bummed and like, you know, like butthurt about this.
No, I don't think so either.
Yeah, I think it's perfectly fine. Just like Bitcoin maxis, man. Like calm down, dude. Like you still have some valuable shit in the Bitcoin, you know.
Yeah.
It's okay if we're not constantly sending each other Bitcoins, like it's fine.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that covers everything we want to talk about. Make sure you follow us on Twitter and at the Block Runner and at MetaZone.io. Make sure you also comment, like, and subscribe to this podcast. We need the help. And yeah, I think read the Satoshi white paper and enjoy it. Read it like 10 times. There's only 9 pages.
Is it even really that enjoyable, dude?
Dude, it is enjoyable.
It can't be, dude. That sounds so boring.
No, it's only 9 pages, man. Come on.
I guess maybe one day, like, we'll read it for you guys.
Oh,
Like, we'll just sit here and fucking read the white paper, dude. Why not?
dude, that'd be some fire content.
I wonder, dude.
Yeah.
Maybe we should. Maybe we should make a video where we're just like reading important snippets and there's like some crazy like cool
Animations, yeah, that's actually not the worst idea.
Yeah, because dude, nobody's fucking read that. Like,
Yeah.
like nobody's buying Bitcoin today. Like, is reading the white paper. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
that's true.
Maybe they need to be exposed to it somehow, in a more digestible way. You know?
Yeah. So tune in next week for reading that white paper. Right?
That's right. We'll get cracking on that.
All right, guys. We'll see you next week then.
All right, we're up. Peace.